In each world, I have to open a Christmas present, and whatever fruit I get from the present, I have to defeat all the bosses in that world using it. But if I get defeated, I lose the challenge. I've already got the first present from the first world, so let's open it to see which fruit it is. We have to defeat all of the bosses, and we have acquired the light fruit. With this powerful fruit, we are going to face and defeat all of the bosses here in the first world. And I am going to start with the Gorilla King, who will go down with just one punch. Our second boss will be Buggy, and with a single attack, we already defeat him. The next one we have to defeat is the Yeti. I also think that with one ability, we can already take him down. And I was really quite right. Now it's time for our very first Admiral, and with just 2 punches, I managed to successfully defeat him. Now I have 3 challenging bosses to face at the same time, but it won't be that hard since we're still in the first world, so a few abilities will be more than enough for us to defeat them all. I've already managed to defeat 2, and now the third one is down. In less than 20 seconds, we managed to defeat all the bosses. I was almost forgetting about this particular boss, but we have one more formidable Admiral to defeat, and this one is significantly tougher than the last ones we encountered. Even so, we successfully managed to defeat another challenging boss. This is yet another boss we absolutely need to defeat, but this one is quite different. He possesses 2 distinct lives, but that won't change the undeniable fact that we are going to decisively defeat him. There are 3 bosses left for us to defeat, and this one will be the third we're going to face, but it's going to be very easy to beat him. The second boss we need to face is Enel, and he's also going to be pretty easy for us to defeat. What makes it even easier is that besides the light fruit ability being really strong, we also have a click attack with this spear we're holding, which lets us deal even more damage to the enemy. And this here is the last boss we need to face. It's going to be a bit more complicated, so I'm going to use every ability possible so we can defeat him. And even with all the abilities I used, I didn't even take away half of his health. And keep in mind that I'm almost max level, and I'm still here in the first world. There are other abilities I can use to deal even more damage, and we're almost there. We're about to defeat the last boss of the first world. Let's see which fruit I'll get now in the second world, where I'll have to defeat all the bosses. And it was a flame. It's a good fruit, and I think it won't be too hard to use it to defeat all the bosses. And Diamond will be our first opponent that we'll have to defeat. I'm going to use Armament Hockey right away because any of his attacks will already deal a lot of damage to us. But the fruit's power is so strong that we can also defeat him very easily. And now with the strongest attack of our fruit, I think it'll be enough for us to defeat the boss. And we really managed to successfully defeat him just by using the final powerful attack. And my flame fruit is fully awakened, so we can deal even more significant damage to the enemy and defeat him once again. Let's go! This is our first Admiral in the second world that we need to defeat. And after we beat him, there's still another Admiral we'll have to face. For now, here in the second world, it's going to be pretty easy to defeat all the bosses. Not just because I'm at max level, but also because I'm using a very powerful fruit. Since I'm using such a strong fruit, it makes it easy to defeat the bosses. This is going to be a good battle, smoke fruit versus fire fruit, but I think I'll come out on top and my fruit will be stronger. By the way, go ahead and comment your favorite fruit, whether it's for leveling up, for PvP, or just the one you think is the coolest. Now it's a battle between the ice fruit and the fire fruit, so let's see who comes out victorious. Who will be the strongest with the most powerful fruit? The ice fruit is really strong because it has the click attack, but since this is the boss, fortunately or unfortunately, he doesn't have the click. The click would be the trident that you end up getting. If you eat an ice fruit, you'll receive a trident, but since he's a boss, he doesn't get it, so that makes things easier and we'll be able to defeat him once again using all the abilities we possibly can. Now it's time for the last boss we need to face, and today I already started off well. I missed the first attack, but that's okay because I still have plenty of attacks left to use. The big problem with this boss is that if he ends up spawning the sea beast, it'll make it harder for us to defeat him. If I defeat this boss, I can go to the third world, and in the third world, we'll be able to get a different fruit. I just hope it's a really strong fruit or one that has a click, because a fruit with a click lets us deal more damage to the enemy. And unfortunately, the boss spawned a sea beast, but he's already at half health, so there's not much left to defeat him. I'm almost defeating the boss, but I'm also close to defeating the sea beast. I'll probably be able to defeat both of them at the same time. It's a little hard to believe, but that's really happening. And these last attacks will be enough for me to defeat the boss, but unfortunately, I didn't defeat the sea beast. However, this final attack ended up defeating even the sea beast. And with that, we're now free to go to the third world. What fruit will we get now by opening our last present? And it was the dark fruit. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the click move, but it's a good fruit for us to use, and best of all, our fruit is awakened, so it'll be even easier for us to defeat the boss. I have to hold down this last ability. I always forget and end up dealing minimal damage. If I hold the ability, I'll deal even more damage. Not just with the first, but the second as well. This time, I used it right, and now I use the strongest ability, where we create this ball of darkness, and after a while, it explodes on the enemy. We're almost done defeating the boss. With a few more abilities, I think it'll be enough to finish him off and move on to the next boss. With this last attack, we managed to defeat him. Now let's go face the second boss, and that's another victory. This one uses the poison fruit, so if I slip up, I could end up losing. And the last fruit that this boss used was the love fruit, but for some reason, they ended up changing it. I think it lost a bit of its meaning, even what the island represented, but I don't know if this has any impact on the One Piece story. I don't know if something will happen in the future, or if they just changed it because they wanted to. And now, with these last attacks, we're going to defeat the second boss of the third world. It was easier than I thought, but if I had messed up too much, we could have ended up dying. He can deal a lot of damage in a short time and even poisoned us for a while, but it wasn't enough to defeat us. Now let's finally face the elephant, and the really good thing about our fruit is that I can easily hit him from a long distance. The only real problem is that this boss can also hit us from a distance, so my fruit doesn't ultimately end up being all that useful. It was actually easier than I thought, and I didn't even have to be particularly careful to defeat this boss. I had to keep my distance so he couldn't land a hit on us, but other than that, it was very easy and smooth to beat him. This boss is going to be more complicated to defeat. He has 2 lives, deals a lot of damage, and is quite tricky to take down. And even with all that, I still believe we'll be able to defeat him, because if I don't and end up getting defeated, I'll lose the challenge. I managed to get him down to half of his second life, so there's not much left to beat him. The trick is to deal a bit of damage, and as soon as all my abilities are on cooldown, I just keep running back and forth to dodge his attacks. And as soon as my ability is ready again, I attack once more. I'm so incredibly close to defeating the formidable boss, but I ended up getting defeated myself. Man, I was truly so close. I didn't even use my strongest and most powerful ability because I genuinely thought he would hit me if I stood completely still. But even when I was constantly moving, he just kept relentlessly hitting me. I wonder if I can go back just to defeat him? Even though I lost the challenge, I at least wanted to win the battle. But it's really hard for me to get there in time before he regenerates his health. He still hasn't regenerated, and now we're really close to defeating him. Unfortunately, I've already lost the challenge, but I still want to defeat this boss. And I only needed to defeat this boss and one more, which would be Big Mom, and I would have won the challenge. But unfortunately, I just couldn't do it. Look, even while I was running away from him, he kept hitting me. I thought he would miss most of his attacks. Maybe I need to keep a greater distance. That was probably it, and I just didn't do it. Wow, we were so close to being defeated by him once again. We did defeat the boss, but unfortunately, I ended up losing the challenge. But let me know in the comments what you thought of this challenge and which fruit you think was the best. The fruit from the first, second, or third world. In the first world, I used the light fruit. In the second world, I used the flame fruit. And here in the third world, I used the dark fruit.